Hello and welcome to one of several videos that I am planning on filming. Today is Sunday the 5th. It's written in my book of January. It is. And my name is Sophie. Hi, welcome to A Spring Snowflake. This is not a podcast video. This is a business video. I am the owner, maker, creator, designer, teacher behind A Spring Snowflake. Most of you will know me from the YouTubes and talking to you about my crafting life. But one of the other things that I have been doing steadily since about 2020 has been building up my business through multiple different platforms. Today, this video is all about my plans for the business for 2025 because things have to change. So, a bit of a recap on 2024 and a bit of 2023. So for those of you who've been around for a while will know in 2023 I, in consultation with the husband, made the decision to step back from employment. My contract was coming to an end at my previous place, but I stepped away a few months early for a number of reasons, not just because I wanted to go full-time with A Spring Snowflake. There were other factors at play that I won't share here. But we made the decision as a family that we could take the risk of me not being employed for a year to see if I could make A Spring Snowflake a viable full-time business. Too long didn't read version, it's not. The way that I want to run the business and the way I think it is profitable is not something that is sustainable in the current financial climate. By that I mean that people don't have money to throw about at the moment, and while crafting always has a bit of a resurgence in a cost of living crisis, or in a period of time when people's finances are taking a bit of a hit because the whole make do amend thing has a bit of a resurgence. People want to sorry, I'm getting comfortable in my chair. People want to feel a bit in control, and actually crafting helps with that control. It's not everyone's struggling at the moment, and I think while crafting does have a bit of a resurgence, and I know that knitting and crochet had a massive resurgence last year, the child and the husband are in the house, so if you hear anyone, if we have any interruptions, it's them. It's not enough for people to want to spend money where they don't feel it is needed, as it were. So, and that's fair enough. I think all crafty businesses have suffered a little bit in the last year and before. So I'm not complaining, I'm just explaining the nature of the world. Anyway, so 2024 was eye-opening for me. I think within about 9 months of taking it full-time, I had come to the realisation that it just wasn't going to work as a full-time self-employed business. And to be honest, there were certain aspects of the business that I didn't enjoy doing all the time. Again, for those of you who've been around for a while, you will know that I went back to employment in August last year. Hello, darling. Hi. Okay. Sorry, interruptions, as I said. So I've written everything down in the book. The book we'll talk about the book in a different video. So as a kind of introduction to the business, it's always been about yarn for me. I started with designing and then teaching, and then I looked at other areas that I could take the business, and one of the things that I found really enjoyable was working with my lovely I-cord maker, my tulip I-cord maker mill, and the rabbit hole for that was going down the route of adding wire to it and making it fun, and making fun shapes, which is what the business has kind of looked like with the woolly wire for the last year. In 2024, I did quite a lot of events. I did quite a lot of local craft events. I did the ICHF country craft show in Kent. I did their NEC Creative Craft Show, which was a big learning curve and massive, and I don't think I'd ever want to do something like that again. I did Carry On Crafting, so both their Christmas show in 2023 and also the summer show. And I also taught at events like the East Anglia Yarn Festival and also Yarndale. I had a pattern come out in More It magazine. Where is it? Here it is. In issue 7 of More It magazine, which was really cool to work with Alison and her team. I've never had been in a publication before, so that was really cool. Everything else that I've done has been either self-published or I did a small design for the East Anglia Yarn Festival programme as well, but that was quite a really interesting experience of working with an editor and within the publishing scene. So it's definitely something I am looking to do more of in the future. I taught a lot, not only at the big events and also as part of my stand at the NEC and also at Carry On Crafting, but also locally, particularly with a local crafty, it's not a business, not for profit, called The Makery. So I've done quite a number of teaching slots there, both for woolly wire, teaching people how to use the mill, add wire, shape it, all that kind of stuff, through to Tunisian crochet beginners, and also some crochet classes. So yeah, there's been a real mix of teaching. But obviously I went back to work and where I am, I've always worked in universities, working with students at different stages of their journey. I'm just going to take a sip of my drink. I'm drinking Winter Spice Ribena and I cannot, is it Remembrances Pottery? I bought this at Lay Family Yarn. It's almost cold enough to drink. Anyway, 2024 is a lot. And I think going back to work in August when I still had prep for things like the NEC 4-day massive show, in hindsight, I shouldn't have done that show. I got completely burnt out in autumn. I actually don't remember where autumn went. I've been at my job now for just over 4 months. And honestly, there are days when I go, I haven't achieved a single thing because my brain has been completely scattered. Now, I wouldn't say that taking the time to take a year out of work was a failure. I definitely needed to do it to know that it was not for me and my business. But it was a struggle, and I actually a lot of 2024 has passed in a blur and I'm not quite sure how much I achieved. Having just done my 23-24 tax return, those feelings are quite valid. So that was 2024. Looking forward to 2025, my kind of phrase for my year in the business is bring back the joy and the time. Particularly in the autumn, I let a lot of things slide, particularly at home, which my lovely husband had to pick up, and he has his own full-time job. It's very demanding. And yeah, there were things that I let slide, both at home, both in relationships, friendships, things like that. So I think taking 2.5 weeks off the day job and also the business over Christmas has really helped to put that into perspective and make me think about actually what it is within the business that I want to do. Now, as I said, I've gone back to employment, so actually helpfully the financial side of it is not a worry, so I can afford, and I'm in the very privileged position to afford, to be able to take a step back and go, okay, I'm not doing this anymore, or I'm scaling back on this, or I'm just dropping that because it's done. So for 2025, I am not doing any major events as a vendor. The exception to that will be Carry On Crafting. It's a wonderful event. If you are in the area or can travel, I think all the camping slots have actually all sold out already. But if you can travel, if you can get in on someone's camper van, it's a fab event to attend as a punter. And as a vendor, it is one of those shows where you are surrounded by people that want to learn, ask questions, want to know, and are truly interested in what you do, which is rare outside of the niche events. So yarn festivals, they're niche in my perspective, because it's full of yarn dyers, people there have that craft or want to learn that craft or are interested in that, in the businesses that are there. When you go to a generic crafting gift fair, it's more challenging because people see you as with your products rather than the opportunity to learn. Karen Crafting, I think, has that perfect blend of... I teach as well as vend at Karen Crafting, and I wouldn't do it if I just vended. And it's just a really nice thing. It also helps that you're camping. So actually, and I will have an expense because I plan to have a camper van this year rather than a tent, because tent just didn't work for me last year. So that will be an expense. But actually, if you already have a tent that you're happy to be in for those 2 nights, 3 nights, it's free apart from your pitch fee. It's a really affordable event in terms of accommodation. People can come from all over the UK to vend. It's great. So that is my only big event that I'm going to be vending at next year. I will likely do my kids' school Christmas fair, because that was sweet and lovely and it doesn't cost very much. But in terms of every other event, I will not be vending in person at places. That being said, I'm planning to still teach. I've applied for a number of different, particularly yarn shows. I will be teaching at East Anglia Yarn Festival, although details of that are still to be ironed out. I am going to be teaching at the Southern Wool Show for the first time, doing a woolly wire class there. And I plan on applying to a couple of others as well. I'll still be offering custom orders, so if people want me to make things for them in terms of their woolly wire, that is still absolutely available, but it will be through my website or in person. And I plan to teach locally. So I will travel. I'm happy to travel, but obviously that comes with a cost of my travel expenses. So if people do want me to come and teach them, particularly the woolly wire, because I don't think there are many people who do teach that in the UK, I'm happy to travel. And if it's at an event that I can manage that with the host organisers, I will absolutely do that. And that's definitely something I'm going to be thinking about. But a lot of the teaching locally is going to be on my terms with people I want to work with, or by hiring my own venues. The other thing I want to get back to is design. I do have one or two things in the works at the moment, but actually that kind of the go nature of last year, particularly at the end of the year, all my creative impulse for design left. And I really want to get back to that because that's so much fun. It satisfies the nerd in me because you have to have a spreadsheet. And there's a lot of planning and things like that. But it's also fabulous, like creating something on paper and then watching it come to life in yarn. So I do want to get back to design work as well. But really, this year is all about bringing the joy back, and a lot of that joy is going to be in creating for myself rather than for other people. So there will be a lot less in terms of output from me. The output I want to up is here. I really enjoy doing videos. I really enjoy editing. I enjoy getting nerdy on Final Cut. I am a Mac user. I love Final Cut Pro. There's so many fun things you can do with it. So I want to do more of that this year. So my plan is to make more videos this year and document my crafting, which is what I kind of started with this journey, with this podcast. Way back when I used to be a stationery and a planner tuber, a Filofax and planner nerd on YouTube. And I do want to get back to that because I quite enjoy talking about the planning process, but there's a lot of planner people on YouTube, so I don't want to really try and compete in that market. So yeah, I think I want to get back to the talking about the stuff that I do, and putting it on the internet. Because even though there's not a lot of financial gain to that, it's still fun to have those conversations. So yes, that is me. That is the plans for 2025 with a spring snowflake. If you see me at events, come and wave at me. Come to my events. Keep an eye on my website. I do plan on doing one thing for teaching online, which will be my online class that I'm going to be working on. I said I was going to work on it over Christmas to a few people, and that hasn't happened because I just needed to stop. Sip. So yes. Keep an eye on the website. I'm going to resurrect the newsletter. I did like 2 newsletters and then stopped. So that's my plan as well, to resurrect the newsletter. Not very frequently, but it's going to be there. But yeah, keep an eye on the website, keep an eye on my Instagram, which then feeds into my Facebook. And that'll be that. I do have a Discord channel. I haven't been in it for years. So that might work as well, but watch the space. I don't want to put too much on myself because that way lies burnout. Yay. So thank you so much for coming and stopping and chatting with me and having a cuppa with me. And I will see you in the next video.